Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead is in fact on hiatus, with no return date in sight. So we don't know if the anime season will ever actually be finished. This video will pick up where the anime left off, so stick around if you want to know how the season will end. Now, I'm following the manga, and the anime has been making some small changes, but the main points should be the same. By the way, not all characters have usable models, so on occasion I have to improvise. The villagers wake up to another normal day, completely unaware that Higurashi is planning to turn everyone into zombies, and can't wait to see a zombified Akira specifically. Beatrix and Akira each have a serious look in their eye, just as Akira shouts, "I win!" Of course, he had the home field advantage, though Mom declares he's always been exceptionally good at cards. Then upon being asked for help, Akira eagerly joins his father in the fields. Meanwhile, Kinsho is working up a sweat chopping wood, though an unexpected hardwood sends a shiver of pain to his core. Inside, Shizuka is aiding the elderly, when the village's senile old man charges her. Now, the anime skipped a scene where he mistook her for someone else and got a little feely, so overnight she learned a martial art technique to use in defense. Beatrix is relaxing, enjoying herself by attending to the horses, and Akira randomly looks up to see the villagers running in terror, trying not to be torn apart by a zombie horde. The gut reaction is to protect his mother, but Dad claims that role, instead ordering him to find his friends. I'd like to take a moment to address the comments asking where I read these books/manga. Of course, I recommend buying them through legitimate sources. However, if you choose to find them by other means, then you need to keep your device safe while doing so. That's why this video is partnered with NordVPN, who's offering you an exclusive deal. So picture this, you're harmlessly browsing the internet when you stumble across a link offering you that new light novel you wanted, completely free. You click it, download it, and stay up all night binge reading to your heart's content. Then 3 weeks later, your computer blue screens, and the IT guy charges you hundreds of dollars to remove the malware that was hidden behind that free download. This entire situation could have been avoided if you were using NordVPN. You see, NordVPN offers an additional function known as threat protection. After downloading, you have to activate this separately, but it warns you when a website might be dangerous and also scans files as you're downloading them in order to prevent malware from being installed. Claim your exclusive deal right now. Just go to nordvpn.com/unseenwhispers. Signing up through my link will earn you 4 bonus months, alongside a 30-day money-back guarantee. Then let's not forget, you can use a VPN to bypass region-restricted content, aka switch your location to Japan in order to gain access to a multitude of new anime on Netflix. Once again, go to nordvpn.com/unseenwhispers to claim your exclusive deal. You can also just click the link in the description and/or pinned comment. Back in town, Shizuka urges the elderly inside, but a lone zombie just discovered them. Terrified but standing firm, she flawlessly flips the zombie, slamming it on the ground, though she turns to see an entire horde closing in on her. But the farmers bravely step in, halting its advance. Elsewhere, a group of hunters are overrun and forced to retreat inside. However, Higurashi throws some dynamite, wrecking the building. Now carrying a child, Kinsho runs as fast as he can, firmly regretting his choice to chop all that firewood. Their savior arrives on horseback, followed by Shizuka and Akira a moment later. Of course, their top priority is to save the village, with their only escape route being that sketchy rope bridge. Kinsho points out they need to deal with the electric fence blocking their escape. However, Beatrix was told it's low voltage, with just enough kick to scare away the boars. Grabbing hold, Kinsho is nearly electrified, unable to let go, prompting Shizuka to proclaim they need to dropkick him away from it. Doing as instructed, Akira is now screaming, locked in place, until a wooden pole bats them both away. Apparently, the villains tampered with the water mill that's powering the fence, so Akira begins wondering if there's a way to break through. Just as Higurashi finally locates his target, Akira demands to know why he's doing this, prompting Higurashi to pull out his very own bucket list. Since they're all destined to become zombies eventually, he's just decided to do whatever he wants now. Speaking of which, he'd really love to see a zombified Akira, causing Kinsho to ask what Akira ever did to deserve this. It turns out Higurashi always hated how genuinely happy Akira looked in college. Shizuka deems them stupid, Beatrix won't allow them to destroy this village, and Kinsho is itching to give them a beating. The group looks toward Akira, urging him to trash talk, but he humbly states he can understand their want to live however they please. However, it's important to treat others with respect, and they can get lost if they disagree. Akira is still planning to repay his parents, all the while Higurashi wants to turn him into a zombie. Guess that makes this a competition to see who completes their bucket list first. Shizuka reminds them the villagers take priority, so Beatrix will go deactivate the watermill. Of course, Akira will be rescuing his parents, leaving Shizuka and Kensho to save the remaining villagers. Though at this moment, a little girl runs off in search of her dog, so Kensho claims the job of going after her. Our group then splits up, all vowing to survive this ordeal. This causes the villains to separate as well, and Higurashi declares that a game of hide and seek is a great way to start the summer. Dad escorts Mom and a group of city women into their house to hide. Dropping to his knee due to his illness, he pulls himself back up, declaring he can go on. All the while, Akira slowly fights his way toward them, wielding nothing more than a gardening hoe. Upon reaching the watermill, a tractor slams into her horse, knocking Beatrix down. Her polearm is sawed in half, followed by her first sword instantly snapping. Toko announces she's a national level fencer, meaning this wannabe samurai doesn't stand a chance. She's also just so done with listening to people's complaints. Banging on the side of the house, Shizuka exclaims they need to escape. However, Tomei says they're much too old to flee, plus old man Hiko is mostly bedridden. In a fit of stubborn anger, Shizuka screams don't give up, before using herself as bait, luring away the zombies. It's mid-sprint that Shizuka realizes she didn't analyze this risk at all, and blames those idiots for rubbing off on her. Eventually, she takes shelter in a cornfield. However, Naoki closes in, proclaiming he's lucky to find himself alone with a girl. Utterly creeped out, she asks what he means, prompting him to reveal his objective of forcefully Frenching a woman. With a shiver running up her spine, Shizuka turns, sprinting back toward the zombies. The little girl finds her dog playing with a chicken, just as a pair of large masculine arms restrain her. Kensho warns to be quiet and that it's dangerous to run off alone, but it turns out this dog is the only family she has left since her parents passed away. They successfully escape to the roof, and it turns out zombies are too uncoordinated to climb a ladder, though they turn around to find a middle-aged man wielding a sasamata. Apparently, his life fell apart, leaving him at rock bottom, so he believes everyone else needs to fall as well. Thus, he charges Kensho, pushing him to the edge of the roof. Back with Mom and Dad's group, the zombies begin breaking through the door, just as a shout has Akira positioning his back to the house, yelling he hasn't done enough. He didn't send them any money, didn't find a wife, and didn't bring them any grandchildren. Dad wonders where he learned to run his mouth like that, before yanking Akira inside, swapping places. Akira is told he can pay them back by not dying first, followed by the door slamming shut, separating them. This man used to spend all of his free time drinking at a bar because he despised his home life so much. Of course, he dreamed of a happy marriage, but it quickly fell into shambles with his wife being angry all the time. On top of this, his son barely recognizes him, and he's just too exhausted at this point to try to fix any of it. Due to his cruel existence, he wants everyone else to feel his pain, which currently means turning them into zombies. Shizuka is hiding from her pursuer, thinking about how she'd rather become a zombie than kiss that creep. The elderly feel horrible for causing Shizuku trouble, but what are they realistically supposed to do with these old bones? Bolting upright, old man Hiko then asks about Akemi. Beatrix is going head-to-head with Toko, however her katana is struggling to endure this assault. Toko genuinely compliments her skills, however this engine will surely draw in the zombies. Dad orders Akira to keep the door shut and take care of his mother, but should he really let his father endure this all on his own? Hanging halfway off the roof, Kensho angrily tells him to stop blaming others for his problem. The old man reveals nothing he did was ever good enough, as his wife always had something to complain about. He worked so long and hard to support her, yet he's looked down on as the problem. I mean, due to the stress, his appearance is that of an old man, yet he's only 27 years old. So what if he was out drinking and missed the birth of their son? She needs to let that go already. Snapping back, Kensho declares his complaints to be utter garbage. He wonders what this man ever did for his marriage. Did he bring her flowers? Did he thank her for cleaning the house or ask how she was feeling? It's blatantly obvious he treated her wrong because he wasn't treating her like the queen of his life. Without remorse, he states the source of this man's despair is treating his wife like nothing more than his mother. With the swelling tension, Kensho is forced off the roof. He looks back, then pulls his attacker down with him. The little girl screams, the man panics, but Kensho confidently declares he has a way to hide himself, before undressing and diving headfirst into a pit of manure. A moment later, our gallant hero emerges, now masked from the zombies, prompting the girl to order him to stay away. Dad valiantly defends his family, but collapses to his knee once again due to the illness. With no other choice, Akira watches him accept his incoming demise. Higurashi pulls him up to safety. You see, Akira is tougher than he expected, so Higurashi offers him a great opportunity. At this very moment, he has a chance to repay his parents by stepping outside and sacrificing himself to the zombies. If he doesn't, then his poor old loving father will become zombie food instead. The choice is left to Akira. Naoki used to be a chef in training, but he struggled with everything he was assigned to do. This caused his coworkers to dislike him, as they quickly grew tired of his non-stop excuses. Then one day, Naoki remembered he wasn't supposed to smoke in the kitchen, threw a cigarette in the trash, which caused the restaurant to burn down. I mean, this isn't really his fault, because he asked for ashtrays to be put in the kitchen. Shizuka is terrified and still hiding, when Naoki appears directly behind her. She screams and crawls away. Naoki doesn't mind the resisting, however the noise will attract the zombies. Yet he excitedly fires off his weapon, complaining how he's been unlucky his entire life. Toko used to be the only competent worker in her office. Her co-workers always complained about her attitude, but they were all just stupid because her ideas were always the best choice. The zombies are closing in around the watermill, which will soon make it impossible to kill the power. Beatrix wonders how they're so evil, yet she claims to just be misunderstood. You see, Toko is so kind that she's always been trying to fix everyone else's mistakes, and they're all just too soft to take the criticism. Hiko asks for Akemi, so Tomo explains Shizuku is luring away the zombies. He then wonders what everyone is waiting for, causing them to complain their bodies are just too old. They're reminded these same bodies never stopped them before. Whether the sun, rain, or bugs destroyed their crops, the village would always buckle down and try again. So why should a few zombies be any different? Shizuka bursts into a lecture about the theory surrounding good or bad luck. Growing angry, Naoki puts the weapon to her head, but a distant gunshot knocks it out of his hand. Impressive, but one old geezer isn't enough to stop him, followed by a mob of elderly villagers pummeling Naoki into the ground. Shizuka declares Naoki's issue to be his self-centeredness, and the elderly surround their precious Shizuka, as she thanks them for the help. Beatrix explains a bit of German culture before proclaiming that differences doesn't necessarily mean they're wrong. Toko, however, refuses to accept this, instead believing everyone else should just be turned into zombies. With nowhere left to flee, Beatrix grabs hold of the watermill, riding it to the top. She states differences make us beautiful, as the zombies attempt to chase her, causing the mill to break away, rolling across the ground. With one problem solved, Beatrix is left with another. How is she supposed to get down? Back at the house, it's suggested that Akira be a good boy and step out already. Dad shouts, ordering him not to put his mom in danger or step outside. If he does either, that will be the day Dad disowns him. But what's Akira's other option? Watch his father die? But it's revealed Dad doesn't have much time left anyway. It's explained that Dad has a bad growth within his body, and of course, due to the zombies, they can't take him to a doctor. Higurashi is disappointed at this revelation, though Akira refuses to give up hope that easily. He won't be able to repay a dead parent. However, Dad announces he'll be a proud father in heaven while watching his strong son live out his life. Well, guess this hostage isn't going to work, but the door opens, allowing the zombies inside. After a small ruckus, a fully zombified Akira emerges from the doorway. Our villain shouts for joy, and Dad grieves for his foolish child. In elementary school, Higurashi was a perfectly normal kid who enjoyed spending the summers with his friends at the pool, though by the time high school came around, he was a certified loner. During college, he attempted to reinvent himself, but it was unsuccessful. On occasion, he'd pass by Akira looking so very happy, which quickly grew from jealousy to hatred. He's ecstatic that he'll never have to witness that obnoxious smile again, and declares Akira's bucket list to be officially over. Pulled off his high horse, Higurashi is slammed into the ground. They realize zombie Akira was just an act, but how did he make it look so real? You come to find out, one of the city women inside used to work as a special effects makeup artist, and they used a caged chicken to lure the zombies into an ambush. Outside, Akira asks what it is Higurashi really wanted to do. Obviously, the things on his bucket list, but Akira states he doesn't seem to be having fun with those. While denying it, he yelps in pain, as a zombie bite rightfully causes him to freak out. The women urge Akira to leave, but he bluntly asks what would be Higurashi's real bucket list. Thinking back to college, Higurashi remembers the time he declined Akira's invitation to join them for lunch. Dropping the facade, it's revealed he honestly just wants to have fun with some friends again at the pool. In response, he's called a darn fool, because all he had to do was ask and they would have gladly joined him. Akira then promises that if he ever becomes a zombie, they'll surely join up and go to the pool together. Everyone meets up at the fence to find the power off, but they still need a way to get over it. Due to a shout, everyone separates as Beatrix crashes into the fence, landing cleanly on the ground. As a group, they proceed to safety, only to find their exit has collapsed. With the zombie horde approaching, they rack their brains, but to no avail. Mr. Kumano announces he noticed the bridge was out and has arrived with a new one to repay their favor. Akira and Kensho dig in, bracing themselves holding up the bridge, until Shizuka gives the signal all clear. With zombies breathing down their neck and a courageous fist bump to boot, they jump, swinging across the gap. Now somewhat safe, Kensho thinks out loud, deeming Higurashi a fool, but Akira has sympathy, as he's unsure what type of bucket list he would have made if he was still working at that crummy job. Then upon reaching the top, Dad smiles, saying they saved everyone, and declares to being very proud of his son. With the village saved, everyone works together to trap the zombies in the tunnel, and this time toss the keys into the river. Mr. Kumano moves into the village and leads the reconstruction, all the while Old Man Hiko takes Naoki under his wing to mentor him. Mom reveals that Dad has frequently asked about him ever since the day he left for college, prompting Akira to declare he'll protect Mom if the worst happens to Dad. Then through tears, he musters up the courage to ask what illness Dad is fighting. It turns out to be hemorrhoids. What? That's all? You see, Dad apparently hates hospitals, so he put it off, causing it to turn into an infection. With a grand new idea, Akira confidently declares he will find a way to cure the zombie infection. That way, he can force Dad to go to a hospital for treatment. Now awake, Dad exclaims that curing the zombies is a whack job idea, one that he can definitely support. The group then takes turns adding new goals to the bucket list, and eventually it comes time to leave. Senile Old Man Hiko tells Akemi to come back anytime, as she, with a smile once again, explains she's not Akemi. With a final goodbye, our group then begins their journey northward. Now time for a big shout out to my 4 newest patrons, Val E, Jacob Francia, Omega Alpha 83, and Dark Skull 564. Thank you everyone for going above and beyond to support this channel.